So my name is Sureaya, and I'm a student at Concordia in the Human Relations program.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, what are your feelings about reopening? Are you feeling safe? Do you have concerns?
Personally, I was a little bit concerned. I was one of the students who signed the petition in the winter to keep classes online, and Concordia kind of ignored it. Um, they have provided masks and they do have Purell, but the enforcing of people wearing masks is a little bit inconsistent. I've had one teacher who's very on top of it, and a few others where I have noticed in class, someone will have a snack for 10 minutes and then kind of keep their mask off for longer or keep it just completely down in between a lengthy snack or having a coffee. So I think they're trying to look like they're covering their bases a bit more than actually covering their bases. And there definitely have been times where I felt awkward. I'm a student that has to take the shuttle, and I think this semester for sure it's been a little bit better, and I've seen students more so take it upon themselves. But in the fall, there was one time where I was going home and I was sitting in the back, and almost all these guys had their masks off or being worn like this. Only one had them down, and I said something to them after we got off the shuttle, but I feel like that shouldn't really need to be something I have to do for a service I'm paying for to take safely with my tuition.
I guess just kind of building on what you said about masks. I'm sure you know masks ended today in Ontario, and I believe in Montreal it's mid April, something like that. Does this make you worried about not just your safety, but also the safety of those around you, maybe immunocompromised people like this? Yeah.
Yeah, it for sure does. I do have a friend who's autoimmunocompromised, so it is worrisome because I think when you kind of take into account how hard it has been when there's been actual mandates for people to be responsible, for people to wear their masks, for people to wash their hands, and just kind of people feeling as if this is such an imposition that you really could be saving someone's life or saving them weeks of being sick, long-term effects, and, possibly them having to take off work because they're quarantining and losing wages. People feeling as if this is such an imposition, and just all the protest and stuff that's gone into that. It's a bit anxiety inducing to wonder what people are going to be acting and living and going around now that they're not even going to be mandates anymore. And as someone from Ottawa, it is very disheartening to feel like the truckers won a little bit.
Does it almost feel like with all these regulations ending that, there's, I guess, this perception that the pandemic is over when it's not?
Exactly. And I think, you can really notice just how much people don't care about disabled people. There's so many people who are disabled that are saying, you can't really just expect us to stay inside while everyone goes out and live like their life. We are still people. We are still entitled to safety measures. And it's just very sad to see. I understand everybody wants to go out and enjoy life, myself included, but I think there can be some middle ground and compromise of opening things up while still keeping in mind people's safety and people's health. And it's not actually as if we are in the post-pandemic stage. There are still people being infected. There's still people who are not vaccinated, people who still don't understand vaccines even. So it's just, I think, disheartening to hear that this is going on, and so many people are calling it, post pandemic or post COVID, because it's just not the reality.
I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this whole view of, we'll just become, we'll develop herd immunity through essentially mass infection, things like this. How do you feel about this?
It's very hard for me to speak politely about this because I think there's just a lack of knowledge when someone tries to use that. And as someone who believes in vaccines and mandates, I do like to read people's counter opinion because I think you're always going to learn something. So I have read a decent amount of these people's ideas and posts and opinions, but I can't say I've learned anything that has convinced me of that point, or anything of that point that's actually been backed up with information or facts. It's a lot of opinions floating around from Facebook, and I personally don't know what other examples people are pulling from history where we've just magically gained this herd immunity. And even if, we have, that still means that many people are dying and becoming infected and living with these long-term symptoms. So even if that is an option, in my opinion, it's still not the best option. And I really haven't seen anything that has been backed up with medical facts. I think it's a lot of people projecting this weird loss of freedom because for a lot of them, it's the first time they've been told to do something to be considerate to other people. And again, I've used this word a lot, but it's just disheartening to see 30 and 40 and 50-year-olds throwing a tantrum to be asked to do something so people won't die or get sick. And it definitely makes you question some of these people's humanity and this morality that they think they have. So I'm not a herd immuner advocate. I am definitely a vaccine and mask advocate and a Purell advocate.
Love that. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you want to share? Yeah, just any other points.
I mean, I think just we're not post pandemic, and I think as a society we can come to a place where we do start to reopen and see people we love again and go out while still doing that in a conscientious way. I don't think the two have to be so oppositional, but that does mean taking certain precautions. And I know some people who've made a very big priority to do that and still kept up their social life while being safe. So I don't think it's impossible. Obviously, there's accessibility issues within that. That's a whole other conversation, but it is possible. And I think if you want to enjoy going out and seeing people, you need to be considerate, to the people you're seeing, to the businesses you're entering and stuff like that.